Hey dudes, Reagan with TDA. See a lot of stuff on the interwebs these days about steel plates being the worst thing in the world, and that if you buy them, you're dumb, yada 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 yada. My opinions on that are like, hey, there's definitely some drawbacks to steel plates. Let's be aware that they've been around for decades and were reliable when ceramic wasn't. So let's be a little cautious about, oh, they're horrible, you should probably throw them away and throw yourself off a cliff for ever purchasing them. That sort of elitist garbage is not helpful in the industry at all. So let's look at it from another perspective. You may be just as yourself and your wife and maybe your kid or two be able to afford to go buy 4 or 5 sets of $1,200 HESCO plates for everybody. That may be in your wheelhouse. However, I have clients that have many more children than that, and there is simply not an avenue for them to be able to afford that near as soon as they be able to afford something like steel plates. Now, they're not all created equal. There's certainly some drawbacks to painted steel plates that don't have any sort of coating on them. There's a difference between bed liner and actually well-designed coating that's supposed to assist in spall protection. So I'm not here to establish any of that. I am going to say that you probably shouldn't really worry about the forums or anything like that. This is not going to be a crazy scientific test that you can like run up and run through a PubMed or anything like that. All I'm trying to do is see if Spall bags have or maybe another option for the folks who just simply cannot do anything but run steel plates. Again, before you're just like, oh, steel plates are dumb, blah, 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 remember that I would rather, if I was on a team with people, I would rather someone have steel plates than no armor at all. If you are going to get shot, it would behoove you to have some sort of armor versus none. So keep that in perspective while we're looking at this. So what I have here is a set of coated steel plates, level 3, that I've had for a long time. Kind of used them as workout plates. I've had ceramics for quite. My first set of armor was actually ceramic plates back when they weren't popular or anything like that. But I do have a set of these that I've used for various things. What I've done is when Spartan Armor Systems released their Spall bags, I'm like, that's a concern before the internet videos or anything like that. So I'm going to get me a set of Spall bags. So I put them on there. I really haven't used this armor much or anything like that. It's just kind of an extra laying around. So I feel it's cool to sacrifice it for the YouTube gods and get us some, maybe a little bit of information that we can use to make further decisions. Hey, you maybe look at this and it'd be perfect. Be like, you know what? I still don't want to do that. Cool. You may look at it and be like, hey, this is the perfect option for me. I really don't care. This is just some information. I'm not sponsored by anyone. Don't care if whoever made any of this stuff goes under. So what we've got here is I've just got a basic plate carrier. This is from, this is not Condor or anything like that, which I probably should have, I wish I'd have shot up something a little bit cheaper. I've had this one for quite a while. The sad thing is I'm about to shoot it, and these magazine pouches are pretty universal, and they'll fit like M14 pouches, which I do have one of those and I like it. I will just go ahead and pull this plate real quick to show you what I've got. All right, so again, I'm not going to say the name of this manufacturer. It's not the one everybody thinks of when they think of steel plates, but it is, well, it's lab tested. Remember that there is actually a difference between being NIJ certified and being NIJ tested. So if NIJ test consists of a YouTube video, they are not NIJ certified. Remember, this is life support equipment. So maybe get something that's certified. So inside, went ahead and threw it inside of this Spartan Armor Systems Spall bag. There's several layers of aramid fibers and some Cordura on the outside. All right, dudes, so we're shooting this from about 25-ish yards away. I do realize that these plates, NIJ level 3 plates, are rated for 50 feet at 2740 feet per second. This is a 20-inch long boy shooting M855 green tip. This is federal too, so it's actually doing the velocity and doesn't just have the little green paint on the end of it. So I'm going to shoot a couple times. There's no reason to do like a 20 round test or anything like that. It's not reasonable. There's a lot of other ways you're going to die before it ever punches through the armor. Again, I'm not super concerned if it punches through the armor. I'm actually kind of wanting it not to, so we get all that spall that we'll see if it's contained by the bags or just the coating. So without further ado, let's get this going. Okay guys, we're up close here. As you can see, this is just thin cardboard. It would let me know if there was anything in it. I am not seeing anything on here. We do have the 2 rounds. There's one through here, the other through here. Those are easy to spot. So just from those 2, nothing definitive or anything like that, but this guy's fine. All right, guys, moving on with the test. I'm trying to shift this way so you can actually see me hit it and to make sure I'm not shooting the dirt or something. It doesn't matter. I really don't care. So up into the 7.62 by 39, some old school Chinese ammunition. Don't believe it's steel core. Again, not worried about it. Looking for the Spall. So let's lock that bad boy in there. See if I can get in a position where you can see what's going on. Here we are again. So I've got hit a little higher on these. Let's say it's over here, but I did get a solid hit each time. I'm not seeing anything come out the top of here, which it should, right? And I'm not seeing anything right here. All right, so all right, well, maybe it's time to move on to the next caliber. Let's test these plates out a little bit with some 7.62 by 51. All right, dudes, we're gonna move on to 7.62 by 51. This is just some CBC NATO stuff. It's not steel core. I know the plates aren't rated for steel core. Handled M855 just fine, but not necessarily the same thing, so I'm not gonna get into that or anything. Heck, I might find some and shoot it anyway. So let's see if this does anything. Do this awkward load. Right here on the neck again. I'm just not seeing anything. You know, maybe there's something. I mean, there's obviously other aspects to this test that could be more scientific. There is no gelatinous mass behind this like a normal human being. Well, obviously this is ripped from just getting pounded from the front of the thing, or front of the plate. I did put some water bottles out here to simulate the little bit of tactical ballast to push this thing to where it wasn't leaning in. So it's pretty vertical with the ground right now. Still not seeing anything. So with 7.62 by 51, Ted here is looking just fine. That is a little surprising. Okay guys, I know there was no need for a 20-round test. I didn't get what I wanted out of the rest. I was kind of thinking it was gonna at least have some sort of spall or something that would hit the neck. Again, it's not a full-size human target or anything like that, but now the real problem is that I'm standing here with a magazine with 28 rounds in it instead of the 30, and I got something down there that needs to be shot. So I'm gonna blow through all these magazines and we'll see what happens, and take it with a grain of salt. I don't really care what happens either. Okay, remainder of the AK magazine. All right, so as you can see, we've got a little bit of Spall in here. Whatever it is you want to call it, man. Yeah, it did start cooking out. Did take a lot of rounds, you know, a lot of other problems before here, but yeah. All right, guys, let's take a look at what we got. So I did dump the AK into this also. I don't think it's going to make on video. I'm pretty sure the phone overheated, which is crazy because it looked pretty cool from back here. Notice we got a couple of hit throughs here. I'm pretty sure that was this one on the edge that just went straight through the nylon and didn't actually engage the steel or anything like that. But you can see after a boatload of rounds, of course, they're spalling. Other problems also, right? So it is armor, it is made by man. Everything made by man fails. If someone says it doesn't, immediately disassociate with that person. So we can see all the strikes in here. We see the Spall cut up. So let's get into this one. All right, that thing's almost cut completely off. Oh, that's the Spall bag itself, dude. Here we go. Yank this guy out. Here we go. A lot of red flaking in here. It feels more like rocks. So anyway, you can see what we got right there. Not a whole lot of crazy, but we see the Spall bag is completely blown out, and we do have a round cut through. I'm gonna reasonably assume that, hot. That is the M855. Look at that, the coating completely separated. There's a large percentage of them right there in the center, and that came off. But yeah, look at all this explosions out here. What kills me is that they're all inside of here, and they're not out here. So this actually is doing a somewhat decent job of containing several, obviously not all of them, don't take that to the bank or anything like that. It kept a lot of them in there. It took a lot of rounds to make this happen. So out of all that, we have one cut through completely. This guy obviously through the back of the Spall bag, through here into the next plate. Let's see if the back plate contained the Spall. It doesn't matter. I'm just taking a look because we're here. We might as well get any information out of this that we can. See what we can find here. There we go. Big old chunk of, I'd probably say that's actually steel. That's probably a chunk of that M855. I don't know, it could be a piece of the AK round. I'm not 100% on that, but that AK stuff was definitely not steel core, or steel core stuff. So we see even what went through here. I know obviously the dude's got a hole through him. I'm not saying disregard that. We see that it went in and is encapsulated in there. That's you can see the little tiny bulge that it made. So okay, cool. Well, that is some information to put into your brain. If you got steel plates, these may be an option for you. Obviously they're not going to stand up to 25-30 rounds. I'll tell you right now, my $1,200 Hescos aren't going to stand up to 20-30 rounds. So also I'm not going to stand still for 20 or 30 rounds. If I do, then I'm already gone. So just in that. Okay, but man, this phone will cool down. I want to shoot this thing with the rest of the magazine of my M14. See what happens. All right, just for fun, let's shoot it with the rest of the 7.62x51. I'm here about my bike. Well, this one was just kind of a joke, but yeah, with 18 rounds of 7.62x51 out of an 18-inch barrel, it did eventually blow out the side here, and we got this guy right here. It went up across the face. It really, I mean, obviously, you know, this is towards your arm, your brachial arteries over here. And we do actually have some chipping right here, so chunks did come out. So I put the backside on and decided to shoot it again, because why not? I had most of a magazine left of ammunition. So let's pull this bad boy out. That's from last time. Ooh, that's a chunk. That is a steel chunk. Must have been a steel core round in there. And I bet you that is going to tell me It totally was, and that's why there's penetration. All right, let's see what we got. Whew, it's hot. Probably should have put on gloves. All right, here's the Spall bag. So we got coming out. Okay, decent amount of stuff out of the bag itself, but we do know some of it blew out the side. Again, this is 18 rounds, 7.62 by 51. Got no illusions that my stuff's gonna work like that. Look at that. Yep, there's the Kevlar aramid fibers. Ooh, that wrapped around it. Whew, I'm gonna have to wash all the lead off my hands. All right, so we're seeing that Spall coating is very serious. I mean, that's all Spall, the coating. That's pretty thick right there. So see, it's not blowing out this way like paint or just what we think of as bed liner does, but eventually it does separate from the plate, start blowing out the side. Looks like it takes quite a few rounds to get that to happen though. Here is our, yeah, this actually could just be part of the plate itself. I almost want to say it is, and that's why it was just sitting in the other side and didn't go out of the Spall bag. It contained that. That's pretty serious, but it didn't contain the bullet's gone through. So cool. All right, well, there you have it.